All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes. We're going into spring practice, and I think we're seeing a lot of things with Miami that are telling signs of team back. We talked about the recruiting, we talked about the free agency. They've done so good, but now are the changes in the coaching staff, are the changes in the defense, are they gonna right the ship? Is it gonna be a repeat of last year? I don't think so. We have a great story to back that up as well. I think Miami fans will love this update. But before we get into that, I'm Andrew, that's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, really great update for Miami Hurricanes, especially on the defensive side of things. Let's jump on into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from over on 24/7 Sports. It says, in 2024, Miami's back seven on defense was lost when it was time to defend motions, shifts, and misdirection plays. Up front, the defensive line was consistently running stunts and twist games, which can be effective but can also take some time to develop. Miami made a change to its defensive leadership this offseason and hired Corey Heatherman to coordinate that side of the ball. The Hurricanes also brought in three new assistant coaches to improve the results on that side of the ball, hiring Des Moines Lewis to work with the defensive line while adding two coaches in secondary, Zach Etheridge and Will Harris. The early buzz on the new look defense after week one of spring ball has to do with things being simplified on that side of the ball, allowing players to play fast and free, which I think is always best. Miami has improved the personnel in the secondary, and if the front seven is encouraged to play faster and more aggression, it should lead to improved results. I think this is exactly what Miami needed. I think this sounds like a really, really great update. I'm glad to see that it's kind of paying off already in spring ball. We're seeing a change early on. Curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Miami fans, in the comment section below, I know it's a very short period of time and we really haven't seen any results on the field, but already seeing the new defensive mindset, the new ideas from your new defensive coordinator, how they want it just be simpler, more, see ball, get ball, play fast, play aggressive. What do you think of this defensive coordinator hire and how he's changed the defense so far? Do you love it? The more you hear about it, is it an A? Is it a C? You're middle of the road where you really just want to see the result on the field. You're not sure quite yet what to think about it. Or is it an F? You hate it and you wish they would have gone back to the way things were, which I hope that is not the case. But nonetheless, let us know what your thoughts are on everything in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest for the Hurricanes?
I absolutely love it, right? This is one of the reasons you bring in a guy like Heatherman to make things so simple for you up front and really across your entire defense to where when you can just let your talent shine. And this was one of the things that was frustrating with Miami a lot of times defensively last year. And you see this with defensive coordinators on all levels, but it's one of those things, and I see it sometimes in college. Really talented teams underperform defensively because I think they get a little too cute in terms of their strategies, right? They just, well, let's do exotic blitzes. Let's try all these different cloud zone coverages. Let's do zone blitzes. Let's do cover two inverts and all this kind of funky crap. Let's play, cover four over here, cover two over there, and really try and confuse the quarterback. Let's get rid of that, guys. Like college offenses, in a way that's almost derogatory, the way the NFL evaluators describe it, are notoriously simple to make things so easy for quarterbacks and the entire offensive players to read and react, right? It's often just one guy. Hey, is that guy over there or over there? Okay, if he's over there, I do this. If he's over there, I do that. And that's it. And so all of the disguise, all of the craziness that you want to throw out there, it can do great things at the NFL level. It doesn't quite work at college because it's so darn simple by structure, by design for a lot of offenses, right? You're not reading coverages necessarily at the college level on offense, especially at the quarterback position. You're reading one guy, maybe two, right? And that's one of the things that Miami and teams like Miami defensively just refuse to kind of understand and grasp. They thought that, well, with our talent and with a creative scheme, we can become elite and extraordinary. No, you're making it easy for teams to read that one guy and you're taking the bat out of your really talented player's hands, so to speak. If you just line up and play, you'll be 10, 20, 50% better. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Miami so far during spring ball in terms of their strategies and approach. Defense is all about avoiding disasters. Get everyone on the same page. Make sure everyone understands their assignments. If you play good assignment football and play with effort and tackle well, you'll be a top 10 defense. It is literally that simple. If you have great talent and do those three things, you'll be a championship level defense. Miami's got the talent. They just need to keep it so simple. Good assignment football. Tackle, play with effort. This is a championship level defense. We all know it. We all understand it. The talent is there at all three levels. Just keeping things simple, allowing your players to do what they do best, and making sure everyone's on the same page and communicating. That is so important. Don't make things more complicated than it needs to be. Dumbing things down is the right approach here for this really talented Miami squad. Their new DC hire is off to an outstanding start.
Yeah, Nick, I completely agree with that. And I think we see this is a key year for the Miami defense, especially being in transition, coming off of the big year. You had quarterback in Cam Ward, but now he's gone, and you're kind of transitioning the offense. Carson Beck's in there, but really just overall, this is going to be a big year to put the defense needs to put things on their shoulders a little bit more. The offense was tremendous last year. The defense kind of let down at times. And I think this is going to be a big year. And involving the defense as far as them coming out and them having to make plays. And I think by simplifying things and letting guys play more fast, more free, you're going to let some of these young guys, they're going to have to step up. Like I'm thinking guys like Armando Blunt, Justin Scott, they come in and they show they were really great pickups, early young guys. They had flashes of potential, but by simplifying the game, they're going to come out and you're going to see better play out of them, bar none. I think be better at pass rushing, better in run defense. It's just overall a great move by the Hurricanes and their new defensive coordinator already showing that this is a team that they know what they're doing. They're making the right decisions on how to make this change. And I think it's going to lead the defense to step up. And that's the key point I'm trying to drive home here is this is a year when the offense, there's uncertainty here. So you cannot come out and try, exotic stuff on defense. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't work. You had to really simplify things, play solid defense, let your playmakers make plays, just try to drive that point home. And they're really doing it here. I think it's going to upgrade the defense tremendously. I think it's going to help this team transition. Because I do think Carson Beck will be a good option at quarterback for the Hurricanes. Hopefully, when he gets better, they're going to be the faster he can get back to practice, the better the transition is going to be. The longer he's out, the slower that transition is going to be. And the more and more they're going to be emphasis on the defensive side of things. We're seeing early on, this was a smart move, and they're doing some really good things down in Miami.
Yeah, and don't discount the attitude effect it has on your team when you have this approach. When you get very cute and when you try and do elaborate things, especially on defense, you're not directly saying it, you're not explicitly saying it, but it is kind of implied that you have to do weird exotic stuff to mask talent, to mask, for lack of a better word, masculine physical toughness. A lot of that's defense, not getting blown off the football, right? Being a man, standing your ground. When you do a lot of elaborate stuff, and I've been there. Look, I played college football. I played offensive line at D1 FCS, so nowhere near Miami. Okay, so no one be too critical on me here. But the reality is, whenever we were going up against a team, game planning for a team, and I was looking at the fact if they're doing very exotic stuff, if that was their desire, if that was their strategy, I'm like, okay, they don't trust their guys to not just get physically beat up for 4 quarters. Whereas if a team just lined up and played, it was like, okay, I mean, they got some dudes up front because if they're just going to line up and play and not mess around, they think they can just hold their own and win the line of scrimmage. We got to buckle up our chin straps. It's going to be a battle. And that's the kind of approach Miami needs to take because they've got the darn talent. That's the thing. At a certain point, you got to let your great athletes and great recruits, and we've covered Cristobal's phenomenal recruiting, what Taylor has done well helping that department for, I think, 2 years now. They're laced with talent, certainly up front, but across the entire defense. Just let your guys play. And that's exactly what the Miami Hurricanes really screwed up last year defensively. They are not falling into that same mistake, it seems, for 2025. And that is the best sign for Miami going forward because you bring up an outstanding point is that there's going to be a lot of concerns and volatility. Once again, new quarterback, who's going to be the number one receivers, who's going to step up. There's a couple guys, of course, that seem to be leading the charge, but we won't know until the season kicks off. What does that mean? It means your defense better be ready to play early. Aggressive, physical, plus assignment communication. You need to get that locked down. They had troubles with that last season, especially against quality opponents, especially down the stretch in a lot of ways. I think they've solved that problem so far. And I tell you what, Hurricanes fans, The big name recruits and transfers, that's all exciting. We've covered that a lot. But the new addition, new DC here, so far so good. It looks like he may be the best addition they made out of anybody the entire offseason.
Yeah, Nick, and I think one key thing here that we gotta talk about is just early on, Hurricanes gotta start fast. I think coming out, you got a really tough game to start the season this year.
Yeah.
First game of the season against Notre Dame, a team in the college football playoff. So really no rest for the weary. You get a couple of rest games in there, then you hit Florida, then you hit Florida State. So early this first part of the season for the Hurricanes, it's gonna be pretty tough. Latter part of the season, typical, nothing. I'm not trying to be negative here, but typical ACC teams, not anything really too crazy. But the early part of that schedule for the Hurricanes, that's going to be really crucial. So, again, more emphasis on the point of there's going to be an emphasis on the early part of the season. How fast does this offense transition to getting up to full speed? The longer Beck's out, the longer it's going to take. So the defense, there's going to be more onus on them. And I really think just early on, they understand that, and it's showing, hey, we're not going to be like we were a couple years ago, lose a close game to Florida State, really start the season off bad. We're ready to come in. The defense is going to do their part, and the defense can carry the brunt of the load. I really like this by Miami, and if I'm a Miami fan, I'm excited about this season because I think the team has a good mentality coming into it, and they're ready to tackle what's ahead.